Hi guys, a very good morning and welcome to Africa and Beyond Television Explore, and let us take a look on very important matters. Zimbabwe is crashing. As each day passes, things are changing rapidly. What was yesterday is different to what is happening today. And that signifies that Zimbabwe is heading for trouble. The major question is, will this current government survive if they continue with this path they have taken? If you take a look on the Zimbabwean dollar, in December, you could change it around 5,000 for a dollar. Right now, it's heading for 50,000 for a dollar. And that is a fact. Whenever you see inflation going in such a direction or the currency crashing just like that, what it means is there is trouble ahead. When you're traveling and you see a sign written police ahead, you have to be cautious. Why? If you continue overspeeding, it means you won't be able to stop when you are required to do so. This is what is happening in the nation of Zimbabwe. The government of Zimbabwe, they've tried by all means to maintain a brave face. They'll deny everything which is happening. The people of Zimbabwe will say, we are hungry. And they will say, you are not hungry. The people of Zimbabwe will say, we are suffering. They will say, you are not suffering. And what is the end game? The end game will be the total collapse of the government. That will be the end game. That is how everything is going to end. So at this moment in time, those within ZANU-PF cycles, those within ZANU-PF ranks, they still believe that they have a fighting chance. But I can tell you that everything is moving in a different direction. Everything is going south. So this thing of Zimbabwean currency cannot be ignored by any sane person. Dr. Walter said, with the RTGS rate now clearly an exponential moving target breaching the 50,000 mark, this Africa's best finance minister rating becomes an absolute fallacy. Mthuli Ncube has been rated the best finance minister in Africa. How can he be the best finance minister in Africa when the Zimbabwean dollar is crashing just like that? Go to other countries, you realize the value for money, but go to Zimbabwe, you not realize value for money. For example, if you want to buy clothes, if you want to buy food in Zimbabwe, 500 United dollars is nothing. 500 USD in Zimbabwe is nothing. But if you change 500 USD to rands and you go to South Africa, you can buy food, you can buy clothes. Yes, people are saying food is expensive in South Africa. Things are becoming expensive in South Africa, but still there is a value in their money. 500 United States dollars, if you change it, you go to South Africa, unodzoka une magombeze, une hembe, une chikafu. But in Zimbabwe, you won't be able to do so reasonably because of high prices. So you see that somebody who is earning 300 United States dollars is earning nothing. Absolutely nothing. So that kind of inflation which is in Zimbabwe is extraordinary. It's not normal. The kind of inflation in Zimbabwe is not normal. But let us agree that if you go into the shops at this moment in time, there is a huge shortage of goods and commodities. In the past months, you would walk into the shop where one rice richita 5 kg tangra pa $3.50. Right now, dzakutangira kuma $5 zvichikwira. If you walk into the shops right now, the best rice you could get is no longer there on the shelves. Kwane rimwe rice rangowanikwa rakadhakwa. But that rice which most poor people could afford or could have is no longer there. So there is massive shortages. If you go to the shops, that unoshaya nesona, sipo yakanzi sona iyaya iri kushayikwa mumashelves, and you ask yourself questions, what is really happening? Why is this happening? That shortage which is happening, if you add it to the currency crash, if you add it to the inflation which is happening, then add El Nino. Guys, hakuna chakakowewa kumaruzeva. I can tell you, there is hunger. People are trying by all means possible right now to join the dots, to put things together, but it's not working. Why? It's because kumaruzeva hakuna chiriko. So if you put that together with what is happening at this moment in time, then you have to understand that Zimbabwe is heading for a crash. But major question is the government prepared for this crash? Is the government prepared to face this the problems which are now facing the people in the nation of Zimbabwe? That is a very significant question. Is the government prepared? So people are migrating, going to South Africa, going to other countries because there is nothing to show off in Zimbabwe. So if you take a look on this, if the government continues with this path of denying, then they'll crash. And when they crash, it will be difficult for them to rise up again. So there is poverty in Zimbabwe. Prices are very high. Shortages are looming. There is high inflation. Drought is coming. Bagged richbag richatengwa $15. I'm telling you this. If you are clever, if you have wisdom, you have to start buying maize at this moment in time. Calculate kuti unoda chibage chakawanda sei kusvika pa next harvest. Make sure that you have sufficient maize, because you are going to face a difficulty where a 10 kg of mealie meal might cost $15, or a bucket of maize meal might cost $15 going upwards. That is going to happen because the government is not prepared. They will tell you we have enough. They will tell you we have enough each and every time. But do we have enough? No, we don't. The shortages which are happening are self-evident that we are going nowhere with this kind of leadership. A leadership which will deny everything, a leadership which will justify every action which is silly. They will justify it. You tell them there is a shortage, they will tell you you hate your country. You tell them prices are too high, they will tell you you hate your country. Where are we going? So Mnangagwa is heading for trouble. Watch and see what is going to happen in the nation of Zimbabwe. We do not hate him, but we are telling the truth. But if you are a Zimbabwean, make sure that you are prepared at this moment in time to carry the burden which is coming after you. This is a fact. This is the truth. So if you see vanhu vari kumamisha right now vasina chibage, vanhu vari kumamisha izvezvizvi vachitopema, vachitokumbira, vachitenga 10 kg yehupfu at this moment in time, this is April. We are getting into April, and vanhu vari kutanga kutenga hupfu izvezvi kumusha. Just imagine. Izvezvizvi kutanga kutenga hupfu. Ko kwatinozoenda kumberi uko. What will happen to our livestock? Mbudzi dzedu, mombe dzedu, huku dzedu. It means we are going to be left with nothing. Especially the people in the rural areas, they're going to sell everything. They're going to be left with nothing. Right now, I can tell you the rate at which people are demanding fresh elections. If you move around the communities, the rate at which people are demanding fresh elections. If Mnangagwa could hear people speaking about fresh elections, he would know that he is heading into trouble. He's going to face a very difficult moment. And when you see resistance coming from the rural areas, if you see resistance coming from the rural areas, what about the urban areas? What kind of resistance is he going to face in the urban areas? That will be massive. So Team Zimbabwe, let ZANU-PF people do whatever they're doing, but just be reminded that buying cars for musicians, buying cars for influential people will not correct hunger in our stomachs, hunger in the stomachs of our children. They will continue to cry. And as long as children are crying because of hunger, what are the parents going to do? Where are you going to buy maize? Where are you going to have that food? Right now vanhu vari kupiwa mapfunde matsvuku kumisha. Mapfunde dzvuku haridyiki guys, ukaridya kutoireti kunonetsa kuenda. That is a fact. And huku chaidzo chaidzo dziri kumaramba. Uchasara usina huku pamusha, uchasara usina chikafu pamusha, uchasara usina tii chai haichazikanwi kumaruzevha. And people are starting to complain. People are starting to tell kuti, guys, we made a mistake. We entertained Faz. We made a mistake. Even Faz people, they are regretting. The majority of them are regretting. Vari kufamba vachisunza, ndo vakanga vari part of Faz, but ndo vari kufamba vachitsvaga chikafu. Just imagine, guys, kuti munhu anga ari kuFaz izvezvizve this moment in time ari kutsvaga chikafu for his own family. Haana chekubata. Makusena ano vatokanganwikwa, and the chivayos are busy paying those prominent people whilst the masses are suffering. This can tell that where we are going as a nation, we are heading for trouble for those who are in leadership. What are they going to do? Nothing, because they will never accept that Zimbabwe is crashing. They will tell you the Zimbabwean dollar will stay. They will tell you the Zimbabwean dollar is well performing. And I don't know how performing it that currency is. So this is what is happening in Zimbabwe. There is massive poverty. The currency is crashing. Prices are going up, very, very high prices. There are shortages. If you go into the shops, some commodities are no longer on the shelves. And there is high inflation. There is drought. The major question is, will this denial government survive? So my advice to the people of Zimbabwe is that make sure that you have sufficient food, make sure that you have sufficient reserves, so that when that time comes, you will be able to survive. Because I don't see this government coming in to deal with the issues of shortages. They will never do that. This government is so insensitive. I have seen them chasing around Madonna and USAID. It came in time to assist, but say. So you'll be told they are insecure. You'll be told, but who is going to suffer? The same supporters of ZANU-PF. They're going to suffer. So, and this guys, because the rate at which people are going out of Zimbabwe, this past week alone, I've lost around 6 friends who have gone outside the country to seek greener pastures, because I'm Zimbabwe's home. So what does that mean? Amen.